We here at the Sports History Network proudly partner with 26 podcasts, all revolving around the history of sports. But did you know that many of our hosts were sports history authors way before they started their shows? It's true. We've got Joe Ziemba, host of When Football Was Football, Joe Zagurski, host of Pro Football in the 1970s, Mark Morthier, host of Yesterday's Sports, Tommy Phillips, host of Lombardi Memories, and Scott Adamson, co-host of From the 55-Yard Line. All these authors have many books for you to choose from. To check them out, go to our website at sportshistorynetwork.com/sportshistorybooks. Pick up your copy today. Soundtrack provided by Kevin MacLeod of filmmusic.io.
It's time for another session to talk about Western Pennsylvania football history, and today we talk about the NFL career highlights of hometown hero Charlie Batch from Homestead, Pennsylvania, and he's remembered in a tribute to yet another Western Pennsylvania connection to football. He played high school, played pro in this side of the state. His story's coming up in just a moment.
This is the Pigskin Daily History Dispatch, a podcast that covers the anniversaries of American football events throughout history on a day-to-day basis. Your host, Darren Hayes, is podcasting from America's North Shore to bring you the memories of the gridiron, one day at a time. So as we come out of the tunnel of the Sports History Network, let's take the field and go no huddle through the portal of positive gridiron history with pigskindispatch.com.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
Hello, my football friends. This is Darren Hayes of pigskindispatch.com. Welcome once again to the Pig Pen, your portal to positive football history. And as we try to do every Saturday, we try to look at the area where I'm from and the contributions of football from Western Pennsylvania. And there's a lot. We can go on and on and on. And we have sort of a more modern twist on this. It's always good when you can talk about somebody that was born and raised in Western Pennsylvania and then went on to play professionally in the NFL in Western Pennsylvania. It's a double-edged sword. And we're going to talk about Charlie Batch today. And when the Pittsburgh Steelers wanted to bring in some quarterback competition to their signal caller room, one name jumped off the pages of available candidates in the year 2002. A 6'2", 220-pounder who hailed from nearby Homestead, Pennsylvania, veteran Charlie Batch. The Munhall Steel Valley High School grad had moved on to start at Eastern Michigan, where he played 4 seasons there, had some injury problems, but had a relatively very good career at Eastern Michigan. So much so that he was drafted in the NFL. Well, Kevin Colbert, who just recently retired as the Steelers general manager, in 2002 was recently hired as a general manager of the Steelers. Well, he was familiar with Batch because, after all, he was the guy that drafted him as part of the Detroit Lions staff in 1998. Because Batch had started his NFL career in 1998 with the Detroit Lions that took him in the second round. Now, Charlie started some nationally broadcast games for the Lions, and he had some very early success too, as Batch was the Detroit starter through much of the 1998 through 2001 seasons. One reason was surprising retirement of running back Barry Sanders in 1999. And Detroit struggled to find an identity and consistency in its running game. To compensate for this, they used the skill set of Charlie and asked him to assume sort of a hybrid quarterback role and assist in the Lions' running game by using various quarterback sneaks, bootlegs, and quarterback draws in an attempt to keep the defenders off balance. He almost went into an RPO situation that we're familiar with today. Now, he proved to be effective, but he was injury-prone in his years with Detroit. In 1999, the year that Sanders retired, Batch helped rally Detroit to a surprising wild-card game win against the Washington Redskins. Now, Batch did not play in the game, giving away to Gus Frerotte, another Western Pennsylvania native, due to injury, and Detroit ended up losing this contest 27-13 in that playoff year. Now, that first year, Charlie played for the Steelers in 2002. Instead of giving way to veteran quarterbacks Cordell Stewart and Tommy Maddox, he stayed on the sideline. And in 2004, the Steelers, of course, used a first-round draft pick on Ben Roethlisberger and eventually made Charlie Ben's immediate backup and cohort for the rest of his career, almost a decade. In a book titled Game of My Life, Pittsburgh Steelers, put together by author Matt Lode in 2005. The men that played for the Steelers tell stories of their favorite games played when they were on Pittsburgh's roster. In one of these, Charlie Batch picked an assignment of his favorite game in the Steel City. Although he played only in a handful of games, he had some great outings to choose from. The 2005 Classic, where he started a Sunday night game against the Cleveland Browns and won, could have been a dandy, or had the book been written later, or another good choice would have been the 2012 start, and when he was in place of injured Roethlisberger to help defeat the rival Baltimore Ravens 23-20 in a pivotal matchup game during the regular season. Well, what he did pick was a 2006 Thursday night season opener where the Steelers were the Super Bowl champions, and they received the honor to host the season's first contest. That special Thursday night game, they started right about that time. Now, just 2 days before the game, Roethlisberger had an emergency appendectomy, leaving him literally no time for Batch to get the needed reps that starters normally have to prepare for a game. Sort of thrust into it, and thank God he was a good veteran that could pick up the slack real easily. Now, Jerome Bettis had retired after their Super Bowl 45 performance just a few months earlier, and young speedster Fast Willie Parker became the feature back. Now, Batch also was under center with a host of young, talented pass catchers coming into the game, and he helped them make some memories. So let's think about that. You have a journeyman, second or third year running back with not a lot of experience starting, and you have a tight end that's in his second year, and a couple rookie wide receivers that you're really counting on. And Hines Ward is in there somewhere too. Well, an early touchdown pass to Nate Washington, his first career score, and a bit later the rookie first-rounder Santonio Holmes took in his first NFL reception from Batch. Well, the biggest play of that game might be the toss to second-year tight end Heath Miller. Now, Batch described that on the sidelines before the Steelers took the field on their own 13-yard line, that he and offensive coordinator Ken Wisenhunt went over the play selections that they would choose for that first down play. Now, Charlie really didn't care for the first two options his coordinator gave him. And so Wisenhunt said, well, what do you want to do? And he suggested a play called 126 Star Saint. Well, the routes ran in that particular play confused the Dolphins secondary just enough to leave Miller wide open just about midfield. Because Miami was in a too-deep safety look, according to Batch, and they were forced to cover receiver Cedric Wilson on an end route. Now, opening the door for the tight end to go out and get open. The pass traveled probably about 35 yards in the air. Heath Miller caught it at midfield, and then he lumbered the rest of the way 50-some yards to get down near the end zone, and then dove for the goal line as he was getting tackled, and tackled very close to that goal line. And it was at first ruled a touchdown. Now, Miller, coming off the field, soon whispered to Batch and other teammates that he wasn't sure if he got in that end zone. So the Steelers hurried up and got the kicker out there under the ball, and snapped the extra point. Now, rookie Miami coach Nick Saban had tossed the red challenge flag, but it really wasn't soon enough for the officials to see it before the PAT was booted. So it nullified any chance of an overturn of the call. Now, the Steelers won that game 28-17 with those two fourth-quarter touchdowns, and Charlie went 15 of 25 passing with 209 yards and 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Pretty good outing for a season opener of the Super Bowl champs. Well, they really didn't have that great of a season. Roethlisberger came back and was in and out of a few games, but the Steelers really couldn't get in that sync. They sort of had that Super Bowl slumber, after the postpartum winning of the Super Bowl. It ended up being 508-8, and I believe that ended up being Coach Bill Cowher's last season at the helm of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, Charlie, to this day, can be heard as a color analyst and co-host of many Pittsburgh Steelers radio broadcast specials, and he's in the locker room usually after games and has some really great insight, and it's just a very all-around likable guy. And that, along with his talent, charitable good works around the Pittsburgh area and when he was in Detroit, and a passion for Pittsburgh football is what kept him on the Steelers roster for 11 seasons as a fan favorite and keeps him still broadcasting and talking Steelers almost daily to this very day. Now, he saw winning seasons most of his career in Pittsburgh when he played, and even helped earn 2 Super Bowl rings during Super Bowl 45 and Super Bowl 48. Charlie Batch, one of the great Pittsburgh natives that played professional football and played it in the city where he grew up. So just another little bit of football history. Glad you enjoyed it. Another little bit of Western Pennsylvania football history. And hope you'll join us every day for more football history, because we bring it to you 365 days a year. Till tomorrow, everybody, have a great Gridiron Day. Peeking up at the clock, the time's running down. We're going to go into victory formation, take a knee, and let this baby run out. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you back tomorrow for the next podcast. We invite you to check out our website, PigskinDispatch.com, not only to see the daily football history, but to experience positive football with our many articles on the good people of the game, as well as our own football comic strip, Cleat Marks Comics. PigskinDispatch.com is also on social media outlets, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and don't forget the Pigskin Dispatch YouTube channel to get all of your positive football news and history. A special thanks to the talents of Mike and Gene Monroe, as well as Jason Neff, for letting us use their music during our podcast.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
It was just another ordinary day in the offices of the Pittsburgh Guardian newspaper circa 1924. But for Marla Delft, assistant editor, everything was about to change. For she was about to discover the awesome attractiveness of Row 1 brand retro sports paraphernalia items thanks to Orville Mulligan, sports writer.
And there it is.
Wow, Orville, that's really the bee's knees.
Isn't it just? A poster-sized replica of the actual 1909 World Series program cover.
I can see that. But where did you get it? And where'd you get it framed?
I ordered it from the Row 1 website, where over 6,000 items of sports memorabilia from the 1880s to the 1990s are available for reproduction, in multiple sizes and in several different materials, with over a dozen styles of frame to choose from for prints like this.
Well, I'm sure Mr. Delft would love to put up more of these in the office. But I'm equally as sure they're beyond this newspaper's budget.
Not at all, my dear Marla. See for yourself. Go to sportshistorynetwork.com/row1.
sportshistorynetwork.com/row1. Oh my, these are good prices. Oh, and look at this stuff. Oklahoma-Nebraska football, college basketball art, Michael Jordan items.
And so it
retro
was that
sports
Marla Delft
advertisement
discovered the
clapboards.
splendiferous magic of Row 1 sports memorabilia, arts, and prints. You can too by visiting sportshistorynetwork.com/row1. That's ROW1 today for access to the full Row 1 catalog of gallery prints and gifts like t-shirts, long-sleeve shirts, telephone cases, coffee mugs, blankets, pillows, towels, and even shower curtains. Act today for 15% discount off all prints with coupon code SHN15 and 20% off all other items with coupon code SHN20 at checkout. And keep your dial locked to the Sports History Network for the exciting chronicles of the 1920 sports world in Orville Mulligan, sports writer. Coming soon.